Come on, pull the block. This pyramid isn't going to build itself, you know. Hello, my name is Tridar, and today I'm going to be showing you how to build a Great Pyramid in Minecraft. Let's get started. So to start with, let me give you a tour of the pyramid you're going to be constructing. As you can see, we've got the exterior here. It's made primarily of granite, diorite, and black stone. There's also a little polished basalt around the edges down there at the bottom. Of course, it being a pyramid, all four faces of it are exactly the same. And at the top up here, we have a pyramidion pinnacle made of gold blocks. And on the sides down here, we have some detailing. As you can see, it's very large, but it's also a very repetitive pattern. So hopefully, after I show you the basics and give you the measurements, you will be able to construct this for yourself. But without further ado, let's actually go inside the pyramid and see what is going to be in here for you to construct. And as we go down the passageway here, we will come into the very large and spacious burial chamber, which, as you can see here, is surrounded by a double colonnade of fan-vaulted papyrus columns here supporting the roof. And in the middle here, we have a corbelled ceiling design here in the middle, with some decorations around the top here. And we also have some hidden lighting down here in the floors, just a little bit of black glass on top of some glowstone to give us just enough light to keep the entire place from being spawned on. And let's go up here. We also have some hidden lighting up here in the tops of the columns, as well as around these things here to partially light up the top here. And we also have a bit more hidden lighting around the walls, so it will give us a nice effect around here. We also have some more hidden lighting up here in the backs of the columns and up here as well. However, I've done the lighting in such a way that when you stand in the middle here, you don't directly see hardly any of it. So hopefully that will cut down on the torch spam if you're going to build this in survival. And also in the middle here, I have left a little cutout at the top, because one of the things you can do inside your pyramid if you want to is you can add a beacon. And if you want to, there's plenty of space for you to add a couple of more beacons around the sides here. You could have 5 beacons going up there. But from the side galleries here, it looks pretty neat, I think. But that's just a bonus thing you can add to the pyramid yourself if you should feel inclined to do that. But let us exit the pyramid and take a look at the entire thing in profile, because I think I am going to be breaking up the tutorial into probably 2 parts. The first part here that we're going to do today will cover the exterior of the pyramid, and the second part will cover the interior of the pyramid, because it occurs to me that some of you may only wish to build the exterior, and some of you may want to put your own interior of your own design inside the pyramid, so I'm going to cover those separately, because building both of these things are very big jobs in themselves. So as you can see here, here is a quadrant, or a quarter, of the pyramid in profile. You can see that for this tutorial, I am showing you how to build the pyramid as a shell, meaning that it will be pretty much 1 block thick around here. And also for the interior as well. I do not think anyone will want to fill the entire void in here with cobblestone. I counted that up, and it would be about 2 million blocks of cobblestone to do that. And I assume no one will do that, so I'm just showing it to you as a shell, like so. There's also some things I didn't go over in here. I have added some side chambers to the design of the pyramid as well. But if you don't want the side chambers, you can just ignore these and just wall this over and not build those, or build whichever side chambers you prefer to have. And here is the profile of the pyramid as just an empty shell. So, with that out of the way, let's talk about the materials that you are going to need to gather for this construction. So to start off with, the number at the top here is the number that you will need to build the empty shell of the pyramid. The number at the bottom is what you will need to build the shell and the interior. So along here, remember the numbers at the bottom are for the interior plus the exterior, and the numbers at the top here are for only the exterior. So to start off with, you will need 34,869 blocks of granite, 32,448 blocks of diorite, 21,048 blocks of blackstone, 1,376 blocks of polished basalt, about 50,180 blocks of regular basalt for the interior space, 697 blocks of gold for the pyramidion pinnacle, 2,129 blocks of glowstone for all the hidden lighting that I pointed out, 360 blocks of black stained glass for the lighting of the floor, and the grand total for the entire pyramid, interior and exterior, is 242,059 blocks in total, which should fill up about 71 double chests. So you're going to be mining for just a little while before you can begin the construction. But we have to establish the base first. So you're going to want to pick a suitable construction spot in your world, and you want to level out a base of 255 blocks square. And also choose the height appropriately, because this pyramid goes up for 150 blocks. And as an aside, down here below that are the dimensions of the Great Pyramid of Giza. Its base is 230 blocks and 139 blocks high. So our pyramid is somewhat larger than that, mostly because of the side things down here make it a little bit larger in base size. But the pitch that the pyramid goes up is roughly the same. So, as I've said, I showed you a quadrant of this pyramid because I'm going to be showing you in the tutorial a quarter of a construction, and that is what we will be using as the reference model for this. And the reason for this is that the pyramid has four-way symmetry, meaning that if you place blocks on this quadrant of the pyramid, you want to go over here and place them in a mirror like that, and then around here, and then around there like that. So bear in mind, when I show you one quadrant of a pyramid, you need to repeat this 4 times all the way around the structure. And the first thing that you should do once you have established your base and leveled it out is to build a center line, meaning that you want to pick a central point to serve as a survey line, because if you remember, this is where we placed the beacon in the pyramid before. And from there, you want to draw out these control lines here. I drew them out in granite so we can have an accurate survey, because the entire pyramid, from the tip that's going to be over here, let me go over and mark it out for you, from this point all the way to the exact same point, 255 blocks in that direction, is going to be the base that I specified. Meaning that if you draw out a square and go 255 blocks that way, and that way, and then turn around and do the other two sides, the entire base of the pyramid will fit inside that square. So when you're measuring that out, I suggest you measure it several times because you don't want to build a giant pyramid and get all the way to the top and find that you're going to be one block off. That would be that'd be extremely bad. So to start off with, I'm going to be showing you, as I said, a quadrant of the pyramid, and we're going to start over here at the corner. So this is the bottom block of that corner I just laid out over there with the red wool. And for this, you want to use the polished basalt that I referenced. And you want to start there and go 23 blocks over in this direction. Then once you have gone 23 blocks, you want to go in one block and build a 2-block section there, 2 more blocks, and 2 more blocks. And then from there, you want to go from here to here, 8 blocks. You want to cut in 2 more blocks, like so. And then after you've cut in 2 blocks, you want to cut in a single block, but you want to do this for 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. And then 2 more blocks, 2 more blocks. And then from here all the way down to here, it's going to be 17 blocks. And cut out 1 block. And then from here to here is going to be 15 blocks. And 16 if you count the section here. And you want to come out about 6 blocks here, I believe. Then 1 block. Then 4 blocks here. 3 blocks here. And then from here down to here is going to be 15 blocks. And then to get over to our entrance, which is coming up, you want to cut in 2 blocks here, run for 4 blocks, cut back 2 more blocks, and from here to here is another 6 blocks. This is mirroring what we did over there. And then from here down to here is going to be 10 blocks. And if you want to include a corner down here, from here down to here is, I believe, going to be 12 blocks. And then at the front here, you want to go 5 blocks to here, and this should intersect with the center line that we drew earlier. Now, at this point, if this does not intersect with the square of 255 blocks that you drew, then somewhere along here you have made a mistake, and you need to come back through and remeasure everything to make sure you have gotten the lengths appropriately correct. And once you have done that one time, you need to turn the corner over here 90 degrees, go this way, and do the exact same thing. And it should also hit the same center line over here and be exactly the same as it is over there. And you're going to need to do this 8 times in total. And once you have done that, you should get the foundation footprint that we have down here for the pyramid itself. As you can see, we've got this line of polished basalt going all the way around the pyramid, and that is what we are laying out in this section here. So when you're doing all these measurements, I would suggest that you do them probably at least 3 times to make sure that you have everything correct, because this is serving as the foundational footprint that we will be using to base the entire pyramid off of, because as you can see, this traces the line of the pyramid shape all the way around, and it also informs the rising of the pyramid to the summit. So with that now done and laid out, we are ready to start increasing the height of the pyramid beyond 1 block, because at this phase, the tutorial of the pyramid is going to be as follows. Now that we have done the 1 block base, every phase I'm going to be showing you, which is going to be slices of the pyramid, is going to be 2 blocks taller than the previous slice, meaning this slice is 2 blocks tall, and the next slice over there is going to be 2 blocks taller than that one, and we are going to be doing that all the way up until we get to the top. So with that said, we will be taking our diorite, and you want to go one block back from the basalt corner that you have here, and also 1 block back here. And you want to construct that on top of the basalt over here, and you want to cut it in following the line of the basalt. You also want to cut it in over here as well with this detail here. And then you want to transition at this point to granite. Then keep following the line around. Make these 2 cutouts here. Let these be whole blocks. 3 cutouts over here. Then just a line of granite following the basalt. We're going outwards here, so we want to leave these little cutouts here. And then we get over to the wall over here, and you want to have this go straight up at this point. Still with the granite, you want to leave those notches out there, and over here with the diorite that we transition, leave little cutouts right there. And a flat face of diorite. Mirror what you did over there again with the granite on both sides. Following the contour of the basalt, lay out the granite as you see done here. And this will bring you to the center line again, which is the beginning of the ramp that will lead up into the pyramid at this phase. And also, if you prefer, you can replace these blocks of basalt here with half slabs of whichever material type you prefer to use. And over here, you want to leave it's going to be a 5 block wide thing for the ramp, and a 2 blocks on either side, and 2 blocks back, and another 2 blocks back up there, and it's going to be set 2 blocks back here as well for the ramp. And the interior of what we've done over here should start to look like this. And I will go all the way around here, give you a good view of this, so you can build it out according to the pattern that you see on the screen. And as always, if I'm going too quickly with any of this, just pause the video, look at the blocks as they are laid out, and repeat the pattern that you see. And over here in the middle, and at the center line over here. Now, this exact pattern I just went over, as I said, you need to do this 8 more times, because you need to do it on this side of the pyramid over here, and that will give you 1 complete quadrant, which is 1 set out of 4. So, with that done, we can go over here and take a look at the next segment, which is going to be, as I've said, another 2 blocks taller than the previous segment. And you want to pretty much do exactly what you did before, except the sides are going to be just a little bit shorter. So you want to tuck in by 1 block here and here, the diorite on the corners. And the diorite in the middle here, you can see that we have a little stair step going up here. You want to transition to the granite here. Do the pattern with the granite like you see done here. It's a little bit different around here. And it's mirrored over here as well. and transition to the corners here. Got the corner there going up like that. The side wall here, the corner here. Transition back to diorite here. And around the front on both sides, these are mirrored, meaning that this section here is the same on this side over here. And then some more granite here, and then the wall of the ramp, and a few more steps upwards done here, and this is what it looks like from the inside. Now for this phase here, we're going up another 2 blocks, but at this point you can see that in some areas we are going up just a straight block over the previous diagonal that we have been doing. And this is going to end up being done about every 4 block increments as we go up the side of the pyramid to create the correct slope for the structure. So as you can see along here, we're taking our diorite and going along this way with our 2 block setbacks. We're transitioning to granite here, and it's still 2 blocks on top of everything else along here, as you can see. However, in this area, there's a little bit of a difference because we have our 2 block tall section just a bit lower than it was previously. And you should have this in place from the last phase, and on top of that, we're putting in a 2 block setback of granite. Except over here, we're now doing another 2 block tall level of granite here, following the pattern from the bottom here. And you're setting it back 1 block. We're still having this vertical wall here, but as you can see, it has a slight slope to it. And you want to follow the contours of that with your granite and your diorite along the front here and along the sides here. Along the middle here to get to our ramp. I think in a phase or 2 we will actually be finished with the ramp, but the ramp itself, as you can see, is just a repeating pattern that goes all the way up. So this is kind of a complicated part. So let me go back over here and do a slow pan across this. And pause at these corners here. If you need to, just pause the video and replicate the block patterns that you see on the screen. The first couple of phases of doing this are going to be kind of long and drawn out. But as you can see, these patterns start repeating all the way up the pyramid for the most part. So except for the middle sections, when we get about halfway up the pyramid, you can see that everything just repeats and it gets slightly smaller as we go up. So by the time we've done this a couple of times, you should be having the hang of it. So here we are again. We're putting a 2 block setback on top of our 2 block tall wall here. We're extending the wall around. We're continuing this side pattern up here at a diagonal. The same over here for the granite. And around this phase, we start adding in just a touch of blackstone that is going to be going up from this point pretty much all the way to the top of the pyramid. So once you get to this point, over here you want to start layering in your blackstone. If you want to have a bit of a pattern, you can mix in some cracked and polished blackstone if you so choose. We want to have a 3 block wide detail of granite here, and then transition back to blackstone. And over here we hit the granite wall. This pattern is continuing up. The same for the diorite here. And carry that all the way across. You want to build the mirrored pattern of that over here. Use the black stone again here. And carry that over to the ramp right here. So once you have done all that around the other 8 parts of the pyramid, we will move on to the next phase here. As you can see, we're getting into the repetitive parts. The 4-block sweep here that goes up is now repeating itself, except it's set 1 block back at a diagonal. It's carried over all the way here. And as you can see, for the most part, the white diorite is having the same length from here to here. And as you have a setback over there, it is sweeping to the left over here and pointing up and towards the middle of the pyramid. The same thing is happening for this granite over here. It's sweeping over this way. We've now built enough of this. You can see we have sort of a diagonal wall forming here. So I'll pause on this and let you get a good look at it. I believe the shadow lighting from the shaders could help you with the pattern. So that's why I've set the sun at this particular angle. Over here, we have some more black stone, except at this point, we're setting it back. So that means our 2-block tall walls that we're having over here will happen at a different height. And the first one for this little subsection, which is the deepest cut-in of the pyramid, by the way, is happening here. So you want to build that like that. The 3-block border of granite here. Have a little detail here. And more black stone. And the side detail here. The same thing again on the other side. And fill in the middle with more black stone. And it looks like at this point we should be finished with the ramp, because this is going to be the level at which the phase I'll be describing in either the second or third video over here is going to be the floor over there for the interior that I will be describing separately. So this is going to be where we're going to having our door. Count this out. From here back to here is going to be 8 blocks. So you want to set that back that distance. And we will move on to the next phase here. As you can see, we have another 2-block tall section of diorite. And a 1 block on top of that is repeating again. Let me explain this again in detail. We have our 4-block section here. Our 2-block tall rise. Another 4-block section here. And another 2-block rise. See the pattern? This is the slope for the pyramid. Every 4 blocks you go up, you're going to go up an additional block on, I think that's going to be the 5th block. And we're going to be doing that all the way up the pyramid for the diorite sections, as well as all the other sections. But if they are set back deeper than this, then they occur at a different height. So be on the lookout for that. So here we have the granite side sections here. The black stone detail in here. It's cutting in and sweeping in over here, but it's going straight up in the middle on pretty much these 3 sections. We have our central projections here. They're the same on both sides. They have the same 4-block and 2-block pattern that I just described, as you can see. And along here, we're continuing up the black stone. We have a 2-block tall section here, and then 1 block on top of that. And over here, we're starting to form the door of the passageway that will lead over here to the middle to the burial chamber. All right, once that is done, we can go to the next phase, going up 2 more blocks, sweeping our diorite in like so. And if you've caught on to the repeating pattern, which you should see at least 2 complete examples of that by now, you should be able to continue that up. Like so. We have our central black stone sections here. Our central projection here, extended up in the same manner. The black stone here. And we're almost going to be capping off the entrance to our burial chamber entrance, which we're going to get to fairly shortly. So here for this next phase, we're going up 2 blocks of diorite on the edge here. You can see this in profile. We're sweeping it around, adding in the granite and the black stone sections, the central projection, and the central bit of black stone here, along with the lintel entrance for the passageway. All right, once that is done, next section here, a 2-block tall sweep going back, granite sections over here, black stone sections here, central sections along here. And at this point, we start continuing our black stone across the doorway. And this, as you can see in the examples over here, will continue straight up like that, pretty much all the way to the top of the pyramid without interruption from this point. So, go on to the next section. We've got another 2-block step back here on the sides, blending that in with the granite over here, getting ready to meet at a point over here with this triangular cutout of black stone here. Our central projections being extended up in the same pattern. And the black stone here just going straight up and back. Okay, next section, we have a 2-block tall section with a 1-block setback. The granite section over here. And I'll zoom in on this a little so you can see we've got a detail of our granite and black stone meeting together, and this will cap off this little triangular projection that we have on the sides here. And the middle section here. The middle projection here. And we're continuing up the black stone in the middle again as well. So, going up 2 more blocks, we've got a 2-block setback here in the usual manner, transitioning to the granite like you see here. The central triangular cutout here is complete. I'll zoom in on this section of the blocks as you see on the screen. Fill in the black stone. Continue building up the central projection and the central bit of black stone here. All right, we've got the same pattern going up here, another 2 blocks with the diorite. the granite here. I'll zoom in on this so you can see how the granite merges together over here. And extend up the black stone, the central projection, and the central bit over here. All right, next phase, you know the drill by this point. You can see that this is all extremely repetitive. So I don't know what else I can remark on it. But from this point on, with these repetitive bits, what I'm going to try to do is zoom in on the details like this and directly remark on them when you need to see them. Otherwise, the black stone continues up, the central projection as well, and the central bit over here according to the same slope that you have been doing along here. All right, moving on, 2 steps back over here, the granite bit here, meeting in the middle again over here. The central projection still going up at the same exact slope along with the other black stone segments. Going up another 2 blocks, more diorite, more granite, the central blending section here, the black stone. As you can see at this point, we're now cutting in a block to the black stone because this is where this is meeting and overlapping it. Still continuing up the central projection here and the central bit of black stone as well. Next phase, more diorite, more granite, and this detail you can see we're cutting in at a 1 block slope here for the black stone with the granite. Give you a good look at this here. Continuing up the central bits here. No changes on that. Next phase, more diorite, more granite. It's cutting in over here, overriding the black stone. Central sections still the same. Over here, again, diorite, granite, and this part here. As you can see, we're cutting in at pretty much a 45-degree angle with this. By the way, let me give you a good top-down view of this. So maybe it will help you a little bit to see what's going on over here. Central sections are still the same all the way up until we hit the step section over there. Okay, next phase, more diorite, more granite. You should have a hang on what we're doing over here with the granite. Central sections, all the same. Going up exactly as you have built them for the last several levels from the bottom. Next phase, more diorite, more granite. We're getting ready to close this off over here, as you can see. At this point, we're now at about 5 blocks wide on the black stone. Central sections unchanged. And next phase, more diorite, more granite. We're at 3 blocks on the black stone now. And central sections still the same. Next phase, more diorite and a granite. But over here, we now finish this black stone section that we started with. We have our triangular cutout here and our angular cutout over here. Let me give you a good long look at this so you can see what we've done so you can check your angles and everything to make sure that they've all been done correctly. The top down over here. And the central sections are still unchanged. So over here, diorite, granite, and we just have a granite wall over here at this point. It's going up about 4 blocks at this point because it's getting ready to get up to the step here, which when we get up to this point, we will be over a quite a big hurdle, and after that, it will go up to the top very quickly after that point. So these central sections around here still unchanged. Next phase, more diorite and granite. This little wall here is now up to 6 blocks. Central sections still the same. And we will now turn a corner and go over here. And here is the finished phase we will get to after we go all the way back and turn around and come all the way back down here. So, our view will change a little from this point. Don't let that throw you. We will start over here at the middle. It's still unchanged all the way around the central sections. And this wall here extending all the way up. But you can now see over here that our diorite is beginning to sort of interface with the wall. I mean, the granite is interfacing with the wall. And the diorite sections here on the corner, except we have now gotten to the point where we're going to be adding this sort of futuristic vent-like steps section over here. And it's at this point that you want to start layering in a line of granite along here. It's where you would put the diorite, but instead you want to put granite. And you're doing that all the way around except for this little section here. Next phase, central section of the black stone is this, as I've said, this, as you can see here, this remains unchanged all the way up until we get to that point in the pyramid. So I'm going to stop remarking on this directly. And I'm going to talk about the step here. So as you can see, we're now doing complete granite in this 2-block section here. And it's going around the pattern like so. But it's getting more vertical in these sections. We have a 2-block diorite here and a 2-block granite on top of it. And the side pattern here. This wall that we started down there is pretty much going straight up for a while. We have our granite here. And at this point, we now have a 3-block tall section on the side here. So, next phase, more granite over here. We're up to 4 blocks at this phase here. I'll go around here and give you a good look at the block pattern here. I think this is actually a fairly easy phase for the most part. You're going around except for little sections like this and pretty much building straight up another 2-block layer of granite all the way around the pyramid. And at the side here, we are now up to 5 blocks on that. Next phase over here, we have a bit of a detail. We're cutting back the entire sweep of granite here, as is shown. You pretty much just want to do another 2-block wall of granite, except set it 1 block back, all the way around, following the previous line that you did, except for like right here. Which I suppose that should probably be like that. And moving around here, we have the 2-block wall cut back a block on the side here. So this goes up 5 blocks, and then it cuts back 1 block and goes up 2 more blocks. And once you've done that band there, we're now going back to diorite, and we're coming out a block here, like so. And you're following the line that you did before. Pretty much this section, this phase we did over there. You want to repeat that, but just make it out of diorite. And keep the pattern as you see done along here. This is probably one of the simpler phases that you will be doing. As you can see, you're just pretty much doing a 2-block wide wall of diorite all the way around. Next phase, it gets more complicated. We are coming up 1 block of diorite, making the wall a total of 3 blocks. Except once we get to that, we're starting to cut it back quite sharply. You want to have a 3-block section of diorite here. And that comes out to the diagonal around here of 4 blocks. And you want to keep the diagonal, as you see done here, until you get over here. And then you want it to just be 1 block like that, and keep that border of granite and diorite like so. You want to mirror this section again over here. This central section here, we're coming out 3 blocks. And the same deal over here. These are set back at 4-block diagonals. And the side sections are set back for 3 blocks. So once you get to the edge here, you can draw 3 blocks. And your 4th block over here will be the granite line. So since this is kind of complicated, let me go back over here and give you a good slow view of the entire section we have here. And if you need to, pause and replicate the block patterns that you see on the screen. All right, with that done, we now go over here, and things get probably one of the most complicated bits, the next couple of phases. So on our line of granite, we're putting a setback of granite as well, but it's sort of like a granite roof in this section. You want to leave a little gap here for the black stone. So I'll go along the back here and show you. This is 3 blocks wide here. It's also 3 blocks here. And it's set back, I think, 4 blocks from the corner here. You want to leave a little cutout and extend a line of granite, but you want to have it overhang over here and build it like you see done here. And this granite overhang should be flush with the diorite section below it. The same side section you did over there, mirrored over here. And you want to extend it pretty much following the granite you already put in. Do a 1 block tall granite and then extend it all the way back. I think that looks like it's 7 blocks. All the way back. And here is the pattern of the black stone. That is going back here. Once you... Here's a diagonal measurement from the side corners. And I should have measured out these corners. Let's do that. So the width of these from here to here is going to be 13 blocks is going to be that measurement. And it is the same over here as well. So this is going to be a 13 block square section. So take your time and get your measurements correct on that. And then there's a little bit of diorite over here. Looks like it's 7 blocks wide here after our 2 block cutouts over here. Then we have another diagonal that is going along here. And it will be following the granite diagonal we had over here. And the side sections here going up like that. And also in the middle here is when we're going to be putting in these bits of blackstone on the top here. And as you can see, the corners of these are in a straight 45-degree angle with the exterior. They're set 3 blocks back here, a 2-block gap here, and then they will be covered over by the rest of the pyramid back here. And I think we have about a 4-block wide gap in between there as well. All right, and the reason we have built those in that section, as you can see, is because they are getting capped off right now in this next phase by a 1-block layer of granite. And wherever there is not blackstone, just put a layer of granite on it. And go back here to the back and start putting in some diorite. It's from this point, this diorite edge here, this corner, as you can see, is going to extend up from here all the way to the top of the pyramid. And it should have, I think, about the same length as the previous ones, except it's on, as you can see, it's on a bit of a different angle. This is set farther out, and the angle from here is set back a little bit more. Let me go back over here to the center. As you can see, you should have the same blackstone pattern you've been building all the way up the pyramid. So this will help you as a guide to get these sections here correct. And you want to build it like so. And over here in the middle, we have our central section here. This is now 3 blocks tall. Just that 13 by 13 square of granite. And in the middle here, you want to put these 3-block wide sections of blackstone and leave a 2-block gap here on either side. And on the sides over here as well, 2 blocks. Except in the middle, it's going to be 3 blocks. Moving on, once that is done, you just want to cap it off with a bit of granite, like you see done right here. All right, with that done, as you can see, we now have our central bit of blackstone and the granite and the diorite again coming around. All the diorite sections from this point all the way up are going to be the same length, so I'll go ahead and measure that out again just in case. So from here down to here is going to be 21 blocks on a side. And after you do your 21 block run of diorite, you then cut it back and 2 block sections of granite. Do 1 block of granite here. And blend in the blackstone at a 45-degree angle along here. And moving on again, we now have the step and vents done along here. So these sections are done. And they can be a little complicated to build, so take your time on that section. But after you have done that and appropriately sited the corners here, you can then start filling in the middle bits and continuing the blackstone uninterrupted. And we will go over here to the next phase and look at how this integrates. As you can see, from our corner that we started down here, we are restarting our pattern of a 4-block rise in a diorite and then a 2-block wall. And then we're going to be going up another 4 blocks and then 2 blocks with the diorite. Now you should be very familiar with this pattern, so going up over here you can see the pattern continues. Over here as well with the black stone, the granite, and the diorite. Just like you did down here when we started at the corners at the very beginning of the tutorial. You want to continue this upwards. As you can see, the black stone is losing a block on either side as we continue it up. And you want to build the same repeating pattern up again for this section here. Another 2-block slice here. Another one along here. And so on and so forth until we start approaching the top of the pyramid. So to shorten the tutorial a little, I'm going to skip some of these sections since it's all repeating patterns until we get to, I think around here is a good spot to start with. So we have our patterns of diorite, granite, and blackstone going all the way to the top. And over here at this point, you can see that you have now placed your final bit of blackstone, because from here you will be putting a layer of granite on it, because as you can see, the slope of the pyramid, the granite we have from the bottom corners that we started down there is now meeting at the top of the pyramid. But the pattern is continuing. The diorite is continuing its pattern, unchanged, and the granite as well. But here in the middle, I will slow this down a little so you can see that it is now colliding with itself and heading to the top of the pyramidion. So we have over here again, as you can see, the granite is almost done with. I believe in this next phase over here, we will be capping that off with diorite, as you can see. So I'll give you a good look at how the pattern comes together, because at this point we are hitting the center line of the pyramid that we drew all the way down there. So remember that when you place a block on this side, you want to mirror the exact same block on this side for all the 4 quadrants and 8 sections of the pyramid. And once you do one of these, the others should be relatively easy to do. And at this point, the diorite is meeting itself, but it's continuing its same exact 4 by 2 by 4 by 2 slope all the way up. And it does this for quite a while. Actually, the entire slope of the pyramid from this point is the exact same. So if you want to go along here and just start extending straight up with the same pattern that you should know by heart by now of the diorite all the way up. And at this point, after you have done a 2-step of diorite here, another 2 over here, at this section, when you would be putting in another 2-step, you want to put in your gold, because this is when we are starting to cap off the pyramid with the pyramidion. That's what this little section up here is called, the pyramidion. And up here, you want to continue, of course, the same pattern of diorite, just with your gold, or whichever material you choose to cap off your pyramid with. As always, my material suggestions are just suggestions. If you want to have a different type of color in your pyramid, feel free to do so. So we are continuing that up, as you can see, making the same pattern of gold, and it is getting to the top now over here. And it is at this section over here that you will finally place your last block of gold here, and your pyramid will be at long last complete. However, I will remark that if you want to have a beacon, then you're going to need to cut out this section. If you want to have 5 beacons, you can knock out those blocks there as well from the bottom. And if you build this at sea level on your world, you should have a little bit of space here left to see a bit of the beacon beam come out of your pyramid, which should look pretty cool. So this concludes the Great Pyramid tutorial. I hope you had a lot of fun building it. I'm sure it took you quite a while. And in part 2 of this video, I will be describing how to build the interior for this pyramid. So if you want to see that, kindly consider subscribing. And thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.